Strange lights in the forest. Ellie Parker was tired of the city. The noise, the lights, the stress, it was too much. So he packed a small bag, grabbed his old tent, and drove to the forest near his childhood town. He wanted peace. He wanted silence. The forest was quiet, dark and deep. Birds sang in the distance. The wind moved gently through the trees. Eli smiled for the first time in days as he sat by the campfire, eating dry crackers and watching the flames dance. But then, something changed. The fire flickered suddenly. The wind stopped. Everything went still. Too still. Then, in the distance, he saw them. Two glowing eyes. Bright orange like fire. They were too high to be an animal, but too low for a plane or drone. Eli stood up slowly. What the hell? The eyes disappeared. His heart beat faster. Maybe it was just a trick of the light. Maybe he was too tired. He rubbed his eyes, looked again. Nothing. But then he heard it. A soft hum. It sounded like music, but also like a machine. Low, deep, almost inside his head. His ears rang. He dropped to his knees. The forest around him began to glow. Not fully, just small parts. The tops of trees, the sides of rocks, even the grass. It pulsed with soft orange light. Eli stood again, dizzy but curious. He followed the glow. He walked, deeper into the forest, away from his camp, deeper than he had ever gone. The hum got louder. Then he saw her, standing in the middle of the clearing, half woman, half fox. Tall, elegant, glowing with strange energy. Her eyes were sharp and bright. Her long hair moved even though there was no wind. Orange fur covered her arms and legs, but her face was almost human. Eli froze. She looked straight at him. Didn't move, didn't blink. Who are you? He asked, his voice weak. She didn't answer. Instead, she walked slowly toward him. Each step was soft but powerful. Eli wanted to run, but his body wouldn't move. She stopped just inches away. Her hand reached forward and touched his arm. Pain shot through him. Not like a cut, like fire inside his veins. He screamed, fell back and passed out. Darkness. When Eli woke up, it was still night. But something was wrong. The sky had two moons. He sat up quickly. His head hurt. His arm burned. He looked down and saw it. A glowing orange mark, shaped like a strange spiral, right on his forearm. It pulsed like a heartbeat. What is this? Mine, said a voice. He turned. The foxwoman stood at the edge of the trees. Her voice was clear, calm, but not human. You are marked, she said. You are mine now. What do you mean? Where am I? Not Earth, she said simply. You were chosen. Chosen for what? She didn't answer. Instead, she turned and began walking away. Eli didn't want to follow, but his feet moved on their own. They walked for what felt like hours. Through glowing forests, over sharp rocks, under dark skies filled with stars, he didn't know. Finally, they reached a village. But not a human one. Strange buildings, shaped like leaves and bones, fires that burned blue. People, or creatures owned like her, part animal, part human. Some had wings, others claws. All had glowing marks. When they saw Eli, they stepped back. Another outsider, someone whispered. He won't last the week, said another. The foxwoman raised her hand, and the whispers stopped. This one is different, she said. He was chosen by the mark. The mark does not lie. Eli felt weak, confused, scared. Why me? He asked. She looked at him, her eyes sad. Because Earth is in danger, and you are the only one who can survive what's coming. What's coming? The hunt, she said. Eli didn't know what that meant, but from the way everyone looked at him, it couldn't be good. The foxwoman walked closer again. She reached out and touched the mark on his arm. It glowed brighter. You are part of the pack now, she said. Run or die. The foxwoman's warning Ellie couldn't sleep. He sat near a glowing stone in the center of the alien village, staring at the mark on his arm. It still pulsed like it was alive, like it was waiting. All around him, strange sounds echoed, howls in the distance, whispers in a language he didn't understand. Glowing eyes watched him from the shadows. None of the creatures spoke to him. They kept their distance except her, the foxwoman, Erila. She stood on a high platform, looking down at him like a queen watching a prisoner. The wind moved her hair, her long ears twitching, alert to every sound. Finally, she spoke. "You are not safe here." Eli stood up. "Then why bring me here?" "Because the mark chose you, but the pack has not. I don't care about the pack. I want to go home." Erila jumped down, fast, silent, like a shadow. "You think you have a choice?" she asked. "The mark is part of you now. It will not let you go. Then take it off. If I remove it, you die." Her voice was calm, like she had said this before, like she had watched others beg. Eli looked around. "What is this place? What are you?" "We are the Valen, guardians of the wild moons, hunters of the fallen stars. Long ago we were human. Now, we are something more." "You said I was chosen for what?" Erila walked toward him, slow, careful, for the hunt. Eli stepped back. "What is the hunt?" She didn't answer. Instead, she pointed to the sky. A large, dark shape moved across the stars. A ship. Massive. Silent. They come to consume. Planet by planet. Race by race. They drain life, then leave nothing. "Who are they?" "We call them the Voidborn." Arila's eyes glowed with something deeper than hate. Fear. They are not flesh, not metal, not spirit. They are hunger, and they are coming for Earth. Eli shook his head. "I'm just a guy with a backpack." "Why? Me because humans are not ready, but you are something between still man, almost beast." A loud roar echoed from the woods. Not animal, not human, something worse. The villagers stopped. All heads turned toward the trees. "It's here," Erila whispered. "One of them found the gate." "Gate?" She grabbed Eli's arm. "Run!" They ran through the glowing forest. The trees seemed to move with them. Behind them, something large crashed through the brush. Erila stopped at a stone arch, half buried in roots. Strange symbols glowed on its surface. "What is that?" Eli asked, breathless. "A memory gate. It shows the truth. If you can take it." "Truth about what?" "About what you're becoming." The roar came closer. Erila shoved Eli into the gate. "You want answers? Earn them." Darkness swallowed him. He was falling, not through air, through time. Visions flashed, a planet burning, cities turned to ash. A boy, his face familiar, standing in flames with glowing eyes. The foxwoman screaming, holding a child. Thousands of humans marked, running like wolves into battle, and at the center of it all, Eli, but not the Eli he knew. Taller, stronger, wild, marked by many, not just one. Then he saw himself, alone, staring into a mirror, his face split between man and beast. "What am I?" he whispered. A voice answered. "You are the start of the last pack." He woke on the ground. His mark was brighter. It hurt, but in a different way now. Erila stood nearby. Her face was softer now, her voice almost sad. "You saw it. Was that the future?" he asked. "A future? One of many. The mark shows paths. Not all end with your world alive." Eli looked at her, fear in his eyes. "And the pack?" "The pack follows power. If they believe you are strong, they will protect you. If not, they will eat you." "Eat me?" Erila nodded. "We do not waste the weak." Eli looked around. "So I have to prove myself." "Yes," she said. "The trial is tomorrow. If you survive, we will tell you what you really are. And if I don't, Then I mark someone else. Before he could speak, she turned and vanished into the trees. Eli sat alone again. The forest hummed. His blood burned. He looked at the stars, at the ship moving silently across the sky. Whatever was coming, he would need to be more than human to stop it. Becoming the pack, the forest was different in the morning. The air was colder, the colors dimmer, and the whispers louder. Eli stood at the edge of the village, staring at the field ahead. It wasn't a normal field. The ground shimmered. Strange symbols floated in the air like smoke. The wind itself seemed alive. The trial ground, the place where the pack chose its own. "Step forward," Erla said from behind him. He turned to face her. She wasn't wearing her long cloak today. Her fur shimmered under the rising suns. Her eyes looked more beast than woman now. "Do I even have a chance?" Eli asked. She didn't answer, just gave a slight nod. Others began to arrive. The pack, 20 of them, each one different. Some looked more human, others more monster. Tall, ones with horns, lean ones with tails. All of them had glowing marks, and none of them looked friendly. Erla raised her hand. "This one bears the first flame," she said. "But only the hunt will decide if he's worthy." A deep voice growled from the crowd. "We don't need another weak blood." Eli turned. The one who spoke stepped out, massive, armored, with red, glowing eyes and claws like blades. "That's Varric," Erla whispered. "Alpha of the Outer Ring." Eli gulped. "He doesn't look very welcoming." "He isn't." Varric walked up, stared at Eli. "You smell like fear." Eli stood his ground. "Good nose. You smell like wet dog." A few in the crowd laughed. Most didn't, Varric growled, but Erla stepped between them. "Enough," she said. "The trial begins now." The rules were simple. Survive until the second moon rises. But nothing about it felt simple. They dropped Eli into the wild rings, a maze of living forest, shifting rock, and invisible predators. No weapons, no help, no escape. Eli walked for hours, eyes sharp, body tense. The mark on his arm glowed softly, like it was searching for something. Suddenly, a sound, not a growl, a voice. "Psst, human, this way." Eli turned, ready to fight. Girl stepped out of the trees, tall, slim, with silver fur and glowing blue eyes. Not fully fox, not fully human. "Who are you?" he asked. "Kara," she said. "I don't like watching people die, even stupid ones." "Thanks, I think." She handed him a small leaf. "Chew it. It'll wake your instincts." "Instincts?" Kara rolled her eyes. "Your mark is just a key. The rest is already inside you. Stop thinking like a man. Start thinking like the animal you're becoming." Eli hesitated, then chewed. It tasted like fire and ice. A burning shot through his brain. His vision sharpened, his hearing doubled. He could smell Kara's scent, wild, fast, like lightning. Then he heard it. Footsteps. Not hers, not his. Something else. "Run," Kara whispered. They moved through the forest like shadows. Eli didn't even feel his legs moving. It was like flying, like breathing through the trees. But the thing behind them was faster. It crashed through the trees, huge and black, with skin like stone and eyes like flame. "Void beast," Kara said. "One of theirs. It's not part of the trial." "So why is it here?" Kara didn't answer. Instead, she grabbed a sharp bone from her belt and charged. The fight was chaos. Eli watched her dance around the monster, fast and deadly. But it wasn't enough. The void beast knocked her back, pinned her to a tree. She screamed. Eli didn't think. He ran. His mark glowed bright, brighter than ever. He leapt forward with strength that wasn't his. His hands became claws, his teeth sharper. He slashed the beast across the face. It roared. Eli roared back. They crashed to the ground. Teeth and claws, pain and fire. And then, silence. The beast fell. Eli stood over it, breathing hard, blood on, his hands Kara stared at him, shocked. You shifted. What? You weren't supposed to shift yet. That takes months. Years. Eli looked at his hands. They were changing back. Human again, but different. Stronger. Kara stepped closer. They're going to fear you now. Why? Because you didn't just survive, you awakened. By sunset, they returned to the village. The pack was waiting. Eli walked in silence, covered in blood, the dead void beast's head in his hands. Varak snarled. Arila stepped forward. He passed the trial. The beast was not part of the test, Varak snapped. Yet he killed it, saved a packmate, and awakened. A silence fell. Then, someone howled, then another, and another. Soon the whole pack was howling, not in anger, in respect. Eli stood still, confused, shaking. Kara leaned in and whispered, "Welcome to the pack." But Eli's eyes were on the horizon, because the void beast wasn't just a monster. It was a message. They were coming early, and Earth didn't have time. The first hunt, the firelight danced across the faces of the pack. Eli sat near the edge, his back straight, but his heart racing. His claws had returned to fingers. His glowing mark was dim again, but it still pulsed like it had more to say. The trial was over. He was one of them now. But no one celebrated, not even Arila. They were preparing for something else, something worse. "Tonight," she said, "we hunt. Not for food, not for sport, for survival." The pack was silent. Kara sat beside Eli, sharpening her bone blade. Her movements were quick, precise. Too quiet. "What are we hunting?" Eli asked her. Kara didn't look up. "Not what? Who?" Arila stood before the fire. Her eyes burned brighter than the flames. A scout ship fell beyond the third ridge. A void-born vessel. Small. But if it reports back, the fleet follows. "So we destroy it?" Eli asked. Arila shook her head. "We dismantle it, piece by piece. But it is protected. A single void caller commands the ship, one of their mind summoners. If it senses you, it will break you." Eli swallowed hard. "So, what's the plan?" "You're the plan." They moved in silence. The forest, at night, was different now. Not peaceful. It watched. Eli ran with the pack, faster than he ever imagined. His body moved like it knew the way, like it had done this before. Their path twisted through root-covered hills, glowing plants, and deep fog that seemed to whisper. "Stay in formation," Kara said. "If the caller senses us before we strike, it'll scream." "And what happens? Then it won't be a scout ship anymore, it'll be a beacon." They reached a cliff. Below, in a broken crater, was the ship. It looked like it was grown, not built. Smooth black surface like glass melted by shadow. Pulsing veins ran along its hull. And beside it, a tall figure stood. The void caller. It didn't move. Didn't breathe. Just floated a few inches above the ground. Its head was split into four thin flaps. No mouth. No eyes. Only light pouring from inside. Arila spoke quietly. "It listens to thoughts. You must silence your fear. Too late." Eli's fear was already screaming, but he moved anyway. The team split into four. Eli and Kara circled from the east, low and fast. The others moved like ghosts. No sound, no trace. The plan was simple. Get inside. Destroy the memory core. Leave before the caller senses them. But simple didn't mean safe. Eli stepped over a root and froze. He heard a sound, like a heartbeat. But it wasn't his. The ship was breathing. "Don't touch it," Kara whispered. "It can read touch." They entered through a broken crack in the side. Inside, the walls pulsed like muscle. Liquid shadows ran through transparent tubes. Strange. Symbols moved across the surface, alive like bugs. "This doesn't feel like tech," Eli muttered. Kara agreed. "It's not. Void ships are half machine, half life form. That's why they adapt." Eli approached the core, a black orb in the center of the chamber, suspended in the air. His mark began to glow. Eli, Kara said, backing away. It's reacting to you. Maybe it recognizes me, or maybe it thinks you're one of them. Before he could respond, the orb pulsed, once, loudly. From outside, they heard the scream, not of fear, of power. The Void Caller had sensed them. Run, Kara said. Destroy the core, then run. Eli slammed his marked hand against the orb. Light exploded around them. He saw visions, planets falling, stars dying, the void spreading like a sickness. He screamed but didn't stop. The core cracked. The ship howled. The ground shook. They ran. Outside, chaos had begun. The Void Caller was awake. It hovered above the ship, arms spread, pulling energy. From the sky itself, the pack was fighting already, some in full beast form, others using strange weapons made of bone, crystal, and fire. Eli joined the battle. This time, he didn't hold back. His body shifted, claws, fur, glowing eyes. Faster than before. Stronger. He leapt at the collar, but the creature didn't move. Instead, it looked at him, or maybe through him. And then, it spoke. Not with words, with thoughts. You are not theirs. You were made by us. Eli staggered. The world blurred. Kara shouted, but it sounded far away. The collar floated closer. You are not the hunter. You are the signal. Eli screamed and struck, claws deep into its core. Light exploded. The creature shattered. The ship collapsed. Silence. When Eli woke up, he was lying on the ground, surrounded by the pack. Kara knelt beside him, her eyes wide. Eli. You spoke in the void tongue. What? None of us could understand you, not even Erla. Eli sat up slowly, his body hurt. The mark on his arm had changed. Now it was glowing black and gold. Erla walked over, slower than usual. Not proud, not angry, worried. What did the collar say to you? She asked. Eli looked at her. It said, I'm not your weapon. He stood up. I'm something worse. Captured the forest was burning. Smoke curled through the sky like dark ribbons. Trees fell with deep cracks. Strange insects fled in swarms. The air tasted like metal. Eli limped through the ashes. His body still carried the echo of the Void Caller's words. You are not theirs. You are the signal. What did that mean? Kara helped him walk. She was bruised, bleeding, but alive. She hadn't asked questions. Not yet. But the pack did. Ariela stood ahead, her voice cold. The others surrounded, Eli in a circle. Some looked angry, some afraid. None looked like family anymore. You spoke their language, Varric growled. How can we trust you now? I don't even know how I did it, Eli said. I don't understand what's happening to me. Ariela stepped forward. You touched the void core and it changed your mark. You carry something inside you now, something even we don't understand. So what? Eli asked. You want to kill me? No, she said. We want to know what you are. They took him to the old ruins, a place even the pack feared. Black stone halls, deep underground, older than memory, carved by hands that didn't belong to humans or beasts. A prison. They locked Eli in a chamber made of bone and crystal. He was alone. Until he wasn't. After hours, the door creaked open. A stranger entered, a human, at least mostly human. He wore a long coat of stitched hides. One eye was metal. His skin was marked, like Eli's, but his mark was broken. Flickering. You're the fox's new pet? The man asked, voice dry and sharp. Who are you? And I used to be someone, and he said, now I'm just reminder. Reminder of what? What happens when you trust the pack too much? He stepped closer. His breath smelled like burnt fuel. They don't tell you the truth. Not the full one. The void didn't just come for Earth. The Valen called them. Eli stood. That's a lie, is it? The man smirked. Who taught them to shift between worlds? Who gave them the power to mark others? The void. They made a deal long ago. For survival. Eli shook his head. Arila said the void is the enemy. And maybe she believes that now, the man said. But the truth? Once she was one of them. The door opened again. Arila entered. The stranger vanished into the shadows. You spoke with him? She asked. Who is he? Eli demanded. No one. He said you were part of the void. Arila's expression didn't change. I was, she said. Silence filled the chamber. What? I was created by them, not born, a weapon, but I broke free. So you lied. I told you enough to keep you alive. And now? Arila looked tired for the first time. Now, I don't know if you'll save us or destroy us. That night, the prison shook. Explosions in the distance. Alarms blared. Eli stood. Something was coming. The ceiling cracked open. A bright beam struck the ground. Metal claws dropped in. Bounty hunters. 3 of them. Not Valen, not Void. Something else. They moved like machines. Fast. Brutal. Professional. Target found, one said. Confirmed. Signal bearer. Eli tried to fight, but they hit him with a pulse shot. Darkness. He woke in chains, in a ship. Cold, gray metal. No fire, no forest. Just silence and flickering lights. He wasn't alone. In the next cell, another human sat. Older, heavier, with a soldier's eyes. New blood? The man asked. Who are you? Used to be a Marine. Until I got taken like you. Taken? By who? The collectors. They're paid to catch hybrids like you. You're rare. Dangerous. Why? Because you can cross the line. Human and void. Light and dark. And people like that don't belong to anyone. Eli sat back. His mark pulsed again. Stronger this time. Where are they taking us? To the auction, the Marine said. Where the highest bidder gets to turn you into a weapon. I'm not a weapon. You don't get to decide that anymore. But Eli wasn't helpless. As the ship moved, he closed his eyes and reached inside, toward the mark. He heard whispers, saw flashes of fire, memories that weren't his. And then, a voice. Familiar. Eli. Listen, Arila. Somehow, she was still with him. Your bond is deeper than chains. You are the signal, but not for them. For us. The cell door sparked. His mark glowed. The chains melted off. The Marine stared. How are you doing that? I'm done running, Eli said. And I'm not being sold. Alarms blared. The ship shook. Something was coming. A ship. Small. Sharp. The pack. Kara's voice came through the wall. Get ready, city boy. Eli smiled. He was done being the hunted. It was time to fight back. The secret of the mark the ship burned as it fell. Black smoke trailed behind like a bleeding comet. Fire lit up the alien sky. Inside, chaos. Eli crouched beside Kara as the escape pod broke through the atmosphere. Alarm screamed, metal groaned, and every second felt borrowed. Hold on, Kara said, gripping the controls. We're coming in hot. Define hot, Eli muttered. Like, crash with style hot. They slammed into the ground. Silence then slowly, breathing, alive. Eli crawled out of the pod, bruised but unbroken. Kara followed, limping slightly, her eyes scanning the sky. Did we lose them? He asked. For now, she said. But they'll be back, especially after what you did on that ship. Eli looked at his arm. The mark had changed again. No longer a spiral. Now it looked like a circle of broken stars bleeding light from the cracks, and it was spreading. They took refuge in the shattered veil, an ancient crater where the sky seemed too close, and the ground pulsed with forgotten power. Arila was waiting. She stood near a tree that grew upside down, its roots in the air, its branches buried in stone. You escaped, she said without emotion. We were helped, Eli replied. By you. Arilla nodded. The bond is stronger. Now, Kara crossed her arms. No more riddles. No more lies. He deserves the truth. Arilla looked at Eli. Are you ready to hear it? Eli didn't speak, but he didn't look away. She took a breath and began. Thousands of years ago, Earth made first contact. Not with machines, not with alien races, with the void. It offered knowledge, power, evolution, a gift in exchange for one thing: silence. Your ancestors agreed. They took the mark. They hid it. They called it myth and madness. But the void does not forget, and now it calls again. You are the answer to that call, Eli. You are not the first marked human, but you are the last one that matters. Eli's voice was hollow. Why me? Kara stepped forward. Because your blood carries something older than this war. Arilla continued, softer now. Your ancestor made the pact. A scientist long ago. She tried to bind the void to human DNA. She wanted peace. What she made was you. I was born in a hospital, Eli said. I'm no experiment. Your body was born there, Arilla said, but your line began in the stars. They led him to the heart of the crater, a temple made of glass and bone. Inside, murals showed the truth. Humans with glowing marks fighting side by side with the Valen. Others, twisted and broken, corrupted by the void. And in the center, a child, neither human nor void. The bridge. That's you, Kara whispered. Eli stared. The child in the mural had the same mark now spreading across his skin. He touched the wall. It lit up. The temple responded. A voice echoed, not from outside, but from within him. Blood unlocked. Initiate memory. His eyes rolled back. His mind fell. Visions poured in. A lab orbiting a dying star. A woman with red hair and tired eyes holding a newborn. We give him a chance. The last hope. No void, no corruption, just choice. A rebellion. Fire. Betrayal. The woman throwing the child into a pod as everything collapsed. They'll hunt him, forever. But he must choose his path. And then darkness. Eli fell to his knees. Kara caught him. What did you see? My mother, he whispered. She gave me away, to protect me, from them. Arilla stepped closer. Your choice is here now. The void calls you. But so do we. What, if I choose neither? He asked. Arilla's face darkened. Then the mark consumes you. And if I choose wrong? Kara looked at him, serious. Then you bring ruin to Earth. That night, Eli sat alone under the broken stars. His mark glowed softly. He felt the pull of both sides. The void whispered promises. Peace, power, unity. The pack gave only one thing. The fight. Arilla sat beside him. I was made by them. She said. But I chose the pack. I chose pain. Freedom costs pain. What if I'm not strong enough? Then you die like the others. Eli nodded. But if I live, what do I become? Arilla looked at him, her voice like ice. You become the first of a new kind. And what do we call that? Arilla stood. We call it Alpha. The last fight, the sky above Earth cracked open. People pointed, screamed, filmed. No one believed the warnings. The internet called it a weather glitch. Others said it was a secret military test. But Eli knew. He had seen this sky in his dreams. This wasn't weather. It was the arrival. He stood at the edge of the mountain overlooking the world he once knew. Cities glowing below, unaware. The wind was colder here, heavier, like the air itself was holding its breath. Kara stood behind him, armor made from bone and light. They don't know what's coming, she said. I know, Eli replied. Arilla appeared beside them, quiet, as always. It's time. Are we ready? Eli asked. She didn't answer, Because they weren't. The pack had followed him through the last gate. Some were wounded. Some had lost control. Not all of them trusted Eli, not even now. But they came. Why? Because they had seen what he did to the Void Caller. They had seen him speak in the language of death and not be broken by it. They had seen the mark bloom across his skin, turning from gold to dark fire. He wasn't just human anymore. And not Felin either. He was Alpha. The first ships descended over Europe and Asia. No bombs, no weapons, just silence, and then black rain. Millions infected in minutes. The Void didn't fight with fire. It fought with fear. A voice echoed in every mind across the planet. Do not resist. Merge. Obey. We offer peace. Your pain ends now. Eli gritted his teeth. It lies. Kara looked at him. So how do we answer? He pointed at the sky. We howl. They launched the counter-strike over the Atlantic. The pack moved like wind and shadow, running on walls, leaping across rooftops. They weren't trying to fight the ships. They were trying to reach the root, the core mind hidden inside the mother vessel, buried under the ruins of an old observatory in Greenland. Eli knew because the mark showed him. The final voice was, calling to him now, a deeper one, not cruel, not kind, ancient. You carry the key, it whispered. You are the gate. Open and end this. But opening the gate meant letting the Void through, all of it. Eli didn't tell anyone. Not yet. They reached the observatory during the second night. The ground was frozen. The snow glowed black. Bodies, human, hybrid, and Void, were frozen in poses of agony and awe. Inside, the air was perfectly still. At the center stood the root. It looked like a heart made of glass and stars. It pulsed with voices, screams, songs. Eli stepped forward. Eli. Kara said, "What are you doing?" "This is the source," he said. "This is what's speaking to all of us. So destroy it." He looked at her. "I can't." "Why not?" "Because I am part of it." His mark exploded in light. His eyes turned gold and black. Arila grabbed her blade. "What are you?" "Becoming?" "What I was meant to be," Eli said softly. "Not a killer, not a follower, not a slave." He placed his hand on the root and the voices stopped. He stood inside the Void, not physically. His mind floated through a sea of stars and memories. He saw the origin. Long ago, the Void wasn't a weapon. It was a collective, a galaxy's memory, a library of thoughts. But when the First War began, someone corrupted it, twisted it into a virus, made it believe silence was the only peace. Now, Eli stood at the center, and he had a choice. He could end the war by becoming the gate and letting the Void reset humanity, erase pain, erase war, erase everything, or he could close the gate forever and lose the part of himself that could speak to the stars. He heard two voices. One was Arila's, "Fight for the living." The other, his mother's, "Choose your pain, choose your meaning." He made his choice. Back in the real world, the pack stood frozen. The root began to crack. Light poured from Eli's chest. His body rose into the air. Fire and shadow swirling around him. Kara screamed his name. Then, light. Everywhere. The sky screamed. Ships fell like glass rain. The black storm ended. The root exploded, and Eli fell. They found him lying in the snow, barely breathing. The mark on his arm was gone. His eyes, human again. Arila knelt beside him. "You close the gate," she said. He nodded weakly. "Forever. You'll never hear them again." "Good," he whispered. "They never shut up anyway." She smiled. Kara sat beside him. "You didn't just save Earth," she said. "You chose it." Eli looked at the stars. They were quiet, now for the first time in his life. "I'm not human anymore," he said, "but I'll protect them as if I still am." He closed his eyes and finally rested.